Good morning. I'm Karen Taradas of Social U. It is time for What's Up Today, where we do every day morning at 10 a.m. to talk about social media tips, tricks, and trends. All month, we're dealing with scary stuff, spooky stuff. Last week, which I have to go look at because I can't remember basically where I live anymore. So, what did we do last week? Oh, okay, here we go. So last week we talked about haunting holiday contests. Oh, excuse me, that was the week before. This week we're talking about creepy encounters and dealing with online trolls. And I will get to the trolls part, but I want to talk about negative comments first because I think that's a big part of trolls. So we're going to start there and then move forward. And then next week we're going to talk about social media nightmares, what mistakes you need to avoid online, what's hurting your business online. So let's go ahead and get started. First, let's talk about negative comments. First and foremost, the best way to head off a negative comment is to know that you have the negative comments. So you have to pay attention. So make sure you are monitoring your comments, your reviews, your accounts. It is very common now for spammers to put weird reviews on Facebook. And I cannot tell you how many audits we've done where I've talked to businesses who have no idea that that's up there. They have no idea. Go in there and deal with that. Get those deleted, get those people blocked so you can move forward. But yeah, you have to pay attention. So make sure your notifications for all your business pages are on so you know if you're getting spoken about online. The second thing you want to take into consideration with a negative comment, is it true? Do you need to acknowledge that it's true? Do you need to apologize? If so, you want to deal with it publicly quickly and then move the conversation to private as quickly as possible. You also need to be careful about accepting responsibility if it's not your fault. So it's okay to say, I'm sorry that you had this experience, or I'm sorry that this is how you feel. If it's not your fault, you still need to address it and move it offline, but you also don't want to put the customer in a bad, you don't want to put them in a bad situation either. So if it's not your fault, you might need to tweak that language. But if it is, apologize publicly, move it offline. The next thing you want to do is thank them for their input. In no universe do you not need to know if there's something negative going on with your business. You absolutely need to know about it, and you absolutely need to deal with it. So you want to thank the people who told you so, because they're bringing it to your attention. If they hadn't, you wouldn't. Think about what it would cost you long term if you didn't know there was a problem. The next thing you want to do is ask, what can I do to fix this for you? I am telling you, 9 times out of 10, the person that you're dealing with wants less than what you'll give. It's a lot of times folks that are unhappy just want to be heard. They don't want, a bunch of free stuff or they just want you to listen to them and acknowledge that there's a problem. Now, sometimes they'll ask for the sun and moon and stars, and you can give them the moon and keep the rest. But you have to find out what they want to fix it, because if you come at it from the wrong direction, sometimes you can make it worse. So just ask them what they're looking for. And don't delete negative comments. When you start deleting negative comments, you're going to make it personal. People who leave a negative comment mean to leave a negative comment. Now we're going to get into trolls. That's a totally different story, but don't delete it. Deal with it. Because I've experienced this firsthand with previous clients that got negative comments that they totally earned, then went in there and deleted them and just made it a personal vendetta. Why can't I delete this comment now? Because they've made it personal and they've posted it on their profile, and you can't control that. So congratulations, you've escalated your own small problem to a major event. So don't do that. Okay, now getting into the rude, false troll situation. False information, you need to respond. You want to keep it short and sweet and factual. No feelings, none of that. You want to talk about exactly what's going on, specifically, factually. Also, don't argue with crazy. If it's not your fault and the person that's saying stuff like, I tried to return my tires and you wouldn't take them. Well, ma'am, we don't sell tires. That's just a weird thing to say. Don't argue with crazy. You'll get crazy on you and you both look bad. Just don't do it. That's the kind of thing that you hide and keep moving on. Don't feed the trolls. If somebody comments on your physical appearance, which happens a lot, I would say YouTube is our most popular for trolls. platform. It just is. People get really brave when they're behind a screen. Don't engage. If they're going to be a troll and cuss or talk about anything that's inappropriate or physical appearance, just don't engage. Hide the post and move on. Rude comments, delete with discretion. Actually, it's a good idea to have a policy in place before you see something with profanity, before you see something that's rude, so you know how you're going to handle it in the heat of the moment without having to make a decision when you're upset or angry. And if the person persists, delete. You can always delete the information and then block them or ban them from your page. You can also report it so they don't do it to other people. Remember to keep your comments inside your brand. Just bear that in mind. Okay, now let's talk really specifically about trolls themselves, because trolls are very different than negative comments. First and foremost, do not engage. Don't engage. Oftentimes, the best response to a troll is no response, and engaging them can escalate the situation and give them more attention. I've experienced this. I've experienced a lot of this stuff, but several years ago, we had a local restaurant that had some very untrue negative comments made, and they were so distressed about the comments, they responded. It made it so much worse because every time they would respond to a negative comment, it would drag the entire conversation to the top of the group and give it more traction. So you have to be careful about engagement. You want to stay calm. Again, a lot of small business owners, me included, I take it very personally when somebody has a complaint. I want to make sure that everybody's happy and it's right. You can't take it too personally. Trolls really aim to get a reaction out of you. So you have to be the calm one. It's like having an argument with a 2-year-old. You can't both be two. You have to be the adult. So stay calm and composed. Even if their comments are hurtful, you have to be the adult. You have to be the better person in the situation. You can always report and block. If the comments are abusive, harassing, report it to the platform and get them out of there. We are a target for hackers who are trying to solicit people to pay them to access their hacked Facebook accounts, their hacked Instagram accounts. It's all junk. So we go in there, I do it every day, and block the user so they can't promote their spammy business in our comments. I don't like that at all. You can also ignore it and move on. Again, sometimes the most effective way to deal with it is not to respond, but to just ignore it and keep moving. I like, especially on YouTube, because we're growing there, I'm okay with some of that. Sometimes we just respond with a troll emoji because, I mean, just rude, instead of deleting the comment. But I've deleted plenty of stuff on YouTube. I'm not listening to that. And it's your business. It's your account. You have the right to change it if you want to. You can always use humor. A lot of times a well-placed joke or snarky comeback can really diffuse a situation, and you can make a tense situation lighter and show that you're not taking the troll so seriously. You want to try to empathize where you can so you understand why the person is behaving that way. But I mean, they may be just having a terrible day, and you don't want to out and out attack them, because most people, it's human nature to want to be right, and most people will double down. So don't attack them. You're going to make it worse. Set boundaries. Clearly state that you will not tolerate abusive or disrespectful behavior or abusive or negative comments. And focus on your positive feedback and interactions. When you highlight the positive comments and you highlight your positive reviews, you bury that negative statement. That's one of the best things you can do to deal with negative reviews and negative statements, is to get a bunch of positive reviews and bury it. If you've been in business for more than a minute, people are going to say some yucky stuff. I mean, they do. That's how it works. So get people who love you to go in there and take your side. I hate to say have a thick skin, but if you're going to be online and you're going to be, especially on camera, you kind of have to have a thick skin, because people will say negative things periodically. It's going to happen. And seek support. If it's so pervasive that it affects your mental health, get counseling, seek professional assistance, and maybe even get offline and find a third party to moderate and monitor your comments, because it's a lot easier for me to do it for a client than it is for me to do it for me. So bear that in mind. If it's really negative and you're struggling with it, outsource it so that you don't have to deal with it, and maybe seek a good health professional. And a couple of things you need to bear in mind when dealing with trolls or negative comments at all. 85% of consumers, negative comments have their place, and there's a good use for them. 85% of consumers look for negative comments in order to make an informed purchase decision. And this number skyrockets to 91% among consumers who are younger, under the age of 29. So, because bad reviews give them a better understanding and a sense of worst case scenario, they want to know what's the worst thing that can happen and how are you going to deal with it? And does it matter to you at all? When you have too many spammy, happy reviews, a lot of times users feel like they're fake, and a lot of times they can be. I read negative reviews. If I'm on Amazon and I'm looking to make a purchase, I'll go look at the reviews. Everybody I know reads the reviews. It's okay to get negative sometimes, as long as the person that you're talking to responds accordingly. They deal with the problem, they fix the problem, and move forward. But if you've been in business for more than 5 minutes, you're going to have some negative. You can't make everybody happy all the time. You're not a taco, so it is what it is. Thank you guys for joining me this week. I deeply appreciate you spending your time with us this morning. Join me next week. We're going to talk about nightmares, things that you definitely need to avoid doing online that will damage your business. And then the last week of the month, right before Halloween, I love doing this. We do it every year. We talk about social media horror stories of 2024. People who have made mistakes that are so bad, they were canceled, deleted, banned online. I love talking about horror stories. To me, that's fascinating. So thank you for joining us. And until next week, I'm Karen Taradas with Social U, and we're here to help. Thanks.